I want to share with something with you. This is going to be challenging. I'm telling you straight up. There's elements of forgiveness in this, and there's elements of turning the other cheek in this. There's elements of mercy in this, and there's elements of grace in this. Um, the other day I was watching a video from a person I follow, and I don't really want to get into who it was because it kind of miffed me that they spoke the way they did. Whereas usually I find them really entertaining, and I find them pragmatic. In this particular case, I thought they were crossing a line, and really, so what it comes down to is this: there is a person who has lived in the United States for 43 years, 40 some odd years. He's Canadian by birth. He has a family. He has a wife and children in the U.S. He's been working here and living here since he was like 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old. Never went ahead with his citizenship. Now, every year, he and his family visit Canada. And this year, on their way back, when they were trying to cross back into the United States, he was denied re-entry. He was denied re-entry because back in the early 2000s, he had a couple of run-ins with the law. And of course, that stayed on his record. And this time, as he and his family were trying to come back into the United States, the government said, no, you can't come. You can't come in. You can't come back. Doesn't matter that your wife's an American. Doesn't matter that your family's American. It doesn't matter that you have a home in America. It doesn't matter that you have a job. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. You had these run-ins with the law back in 2003, I think it was, 2003, 4, whatever. You're not welcome. Now, this guy, of course, has been on the news. He's been interviewed by different media outlets about his plight, and he says in those interviews, I was a big "Make America Great Again" supporter, and I was all for this and all for that. Yeah, I was all for it when it was going to happen to somebody else. I wasn't necessarily for it was going to happen to me. I'm all for the persecution that the administration was going to lay down upon people that don't look like me and don't speak the same languages that I speak. I'm not a big fan that it's happening to me now. Right? It's kind of that whole FAFO. Is that what it is? Yeah. It's that FAFO mentality. I was fine so long as it was happening to them, not to me. As a matter of fact, I supported it. I cheered them on. I mean, I don't know if he certainly didn't vote because he's not an American citizen. Maybe he contributed money. Maybe he went to rallies. Maybe he, endorsed candidates, whatever the case might be. This content creator that I follow basically summed up his feelings about the situation. And I apologize for this language, but I do want to be blunt. Basically, he summed up his feelings about this situation by saying, fuck him and fuck his family. I don't care about this guy. I don't care about this guy. I don't care about what he's gone through. I don't care what he's going through. I don't care what his future holds. And I don't care about his family. I don't care about his kids. I don't care about the pain. I don't care about the suffering that they're going to experience. This guy supported this administration. This administration is the one who's doing this. So I get the anger. I've told you all that before. I get the anger. I get the animosity. I get it. I get the grief. I get the experience. I understand how it feels to watch somebody get their comeuppance. I understand how it feels, how it can feel really good to watch somebody get what we think they deserve. It's normal, right? For us being humans, it's normal for us to say, I'm glad you got this. I'm glad this is happening to you. I'm glad that you are paying a price for your support because you supported monsters. I'm glad that those monsters have bit you on the backside. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine with the fact that your family is being bitten on the backside because you supported those monsters. This is not supposed to be our way going forward. I know. Well, MAGA would be happy about it, and we drink liberal tears. I don't want to be MAGA. I don't want you to be like them. I don't want to sink to that level. I want us all to rise above. Because that's what Jesus would ask us to do. Jesus was not a fuck them, fuck their family kind of guy. That isn't his thing. Jesus is a forgiving kind of guy. Jesus is the kind of guy that weeps with you, whether or not he agrees with you. And that's what he calls us to be. See, if we toe that line where we don't care about what happens to others because they're the ones that supported this. We don't care that others are facing the consequences of their action. We don't care when the monster they supported turns and bites them. If that's the direction we go, then we're not building anything. We're supporting division. We're encouraging and feeding division. And again, I understand, but the other side, we are not the other side. We're to be better than the other side. Because if we're not better than the other side, then the other side has reason not to change their mind. And they have reason to stay there. They have reason to stay in opposition. If they see us as angry, if they see us as vindictive, there's less reason for them to say, I've changed my mind. We're to build a community. And ultimately, I think Jesus' teachings come down to that, is to build a community that is strong, inclusive, and ever increasing. Remember the immortal words of Sting, the only way a congregation gets better is one by one. We've got to always be on the high road, even when it's exhausting. Even when there's that little mischievous part of us going, woo-hoo, he's getting it. Don't you see? We told you this was happening. Swallow it down deep. Swallow it down deep, because we're called to be merciful, even to our enemies. We're called to be merciful, even to those people who would never be merciful. We're called to be merciful, even when the monster of someone else's creation turns and snaps at them and takes a pound of flesh from them, even when it's kind of their own fault. We're called to be merciful. We don't treat others the way they treat us. We treat others the way we want to be treated. We treat others the way Jesus treated us. Jesus doesn't point and laugh because we're suffering the consequences of our bad decisions. Jesus doesn't point and laugh because we're getting what we deserve. Jesus doesn't point and laugh because we are reaping what we have sowed. That's not who Jesus is. And that's not who we're called to be. So even though it's really difficult to hear these stories and not say, good. Even though it's really difficult not to say screw him and screw his family. Even though it's really difficult not to point and laugh. If we genuinely want to rebuild a community, if we want to build strong, loving, compassionate, wonderful, beautiful communities, if that's genuinely what we want to do, our approach to others must always be constructive. And our approach to others must always be about, rather than tearing them down, tearing down the barriers that exist between us, or at least reaching out to those people with a hand to help them overcome the barriers that they see between us. Amen.